Hey everybody, it's Chris here from the Whistlestop Cafe in Mirror, Alberta. I am down in Okotoks right now at the Okotoks Freedom Rally, and we're going to get going pretty soon. And what a beautiful day to do this sort of thing.
But because I want people spreading this message everywhere they go. For example, my sister just did a shirt and it says on there, "Make Orwell fiction again." Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, I would encourage you to go pick up a copy of 1984 and The Animal Farm and read them. Because George Orwell, back in the 40s, that man was smart and he could see where society was going, and we're there. So that's part of our job through these freedom rallies and this freedom movement, is to make that fiction again. One more thing. There's a lot of people these days who have started asking us what we're accomplishing by getting together and having these rallies. This is stupid. Why are you playing music? Why are you dancing? Why are you singing? The reason we do that stuff is because no matter what anybody thinks, art and music and fellowship is extremely important. There are thousands of people out there right now who think that they're completely alone. They can't go to a mall without getting tackled and thrown in a fake jail cell. They can't go to the grocery store and buy a box of chocolates for their wife because they don't want to be harassed about a face mask, a breathing barrier. So these things are important. At least once or twice a week, those of us who don't subscribe to the BS that's going on right now, we have an opportunity to be somewhere where we're not judged, we can have some fun, we can talk to people, share our stories, encourage people, or be encouraged. That's why we do this stuff. Thank you. So I'm already over my allotted time. In my intro, I was described as a flashpoint of resistance. Now, to be perfectly clear, I never wanted any of this. I didn't want to be some icon or flashpoint or whatever, beacon of hope, some people have said. I didn't want to be that. All I've done throughout this entire thing, except for recently when I've started more advocating, is just do what I know is right and live my life normally. That's all I did. And people are so hungry for that that they latch onto it, and that becomes a beacon of hope. Every time anybody here does that, when you're in a store and you rip your mask off and you walk beside someone and they do a double take and take theirs off, you've done something.
That's right. You've become
a beacon of hope to somebody else who thinks they're alone in their struggles. So don't ever let anybody tell you that coming here and gathering at any of these events is useless. It is absolutely useful. In addition, there are things we need to do after these events, which I'm not going to get into right now. I'll wait till my next time I go over on my allotted time. I think right now I'm going to... did anyone here see the interview I did with Blind Joe from Nashville, Tennessee? Okay. If you don't know who Blind Joe is, once we're done, just Google his name and watch some of his stuff. This guy is absolutely amazing. He's quite a bit younger than me, but he's 100% totally blind. He's been blind since he was born. But his eyes are wide open, and he sees more than most other people around him. And he writes songs and he speaks out about what's going on. And I believe he recorded a message for us. So are we ready with that message? Who's doing that?
Yeah. Okay.
He's on YouTube. Yes, he has his own webpage. So if you like what you hear today and you like his message, just like any of the people that are speaking out, give them your support, give them your encouragement, shoot him a few bucks, whatever you got to do, but support the work he's doing. It's extremely important. And you can sing along if you have the lyrics.
Yeah. Do we?
I'm not singing.
Hello to all my rowdy rebels in Canada. It is me, Blind Joe, coming to you from Nashville, Tennessee, here in America, with a pro-choice, pro-freedom anthem I'm pretty sure you're gonna love. I hope you do. This song is called I Will Not Comply. Say it with me.
I will not comply. I will not comply. I will not comply.
Oh, we love you so much. We're praying for you, Canada. Screw tyranny, man. I hope we can get back to normal real soon. This one's for you. It's called I Will Not Comply. Crank it up, baby. Oh, yeah.
And I guess we do it on here now. Oh, okay, yeah. I think that's the way it is. Okay. Ready? Yeah, go ahead. I will not comply. Quit trying to take me to task, cause I don't wanna wear a mask or take a vaccine that could maybe make me die. They got no scientific evidence to back that crap up. All they do is feed us lie after lie. That's why I will not comply. We could be singing. Since back last March, I've had an achy, breaky heart like old Billy Ray Cyrus. I've been catching a case of the blues from the news around this damn coronavirus. Now they're telling us we gotta keep our $10 up, even if we got the shot in the arm. But nobody's talking about exercise or eating food that's fresh grown from the farm. That's why I will not comply. Quit trying to take me to task, cause I don't wanna wear a mask or take a vaccine that could maybe make me die. They got no scientific evidence to back that crap up. All they do is feed us lie after lie. That's why I will not comply. Show 'em what not compliant sounds like, boys. Now listen, y'all, the only way to stop the violence is for us to break the silence right now. So if you tend to agree and you're pissed off like me, stand your ass up and scream it out loud. Sing, I will not comply. Quit trying to take me to task, cause I don't wanna wear a mask or take a vaccine that could maybe make me die. They got no scientific evidence to back that crap up. All they do is feed us lie after lie. That's why I will not comply. Yeah, I'm here to tell you people I will not comply. That's the gospel truth.
How many of you think it's worth checking out Blind Joe's page and giving him some encouragement?
Woo!
Right on. Up next, we have Lindsay Butler. You all probably know who that is.
Thank you, thank you. Oh, there we go. Just a little shorter, just a little shorter. Dang, it's fun to see so many people out today.
Woo!
Can we just give a huge thank you to everybody organizing this, and especially to Mother Nature? Like, it's like 16 degrees out. Thank you. Tell me this is wrong when we get blessed with this weather. All right, my name is Lindsay Butler. I hail from Gladys Ridge, Alberta. And I'm a proud 7th generation Albertan. And I'm even a prouder freedom-loving Canadian.
Woo!
This one's called Prairie Settler Song. We call this land the prairies. We call this land our home. Great-great-granddaddy broke this ground over 100 years ago. They came across the ocean, they traveled far and wide, through this wild land unknown, and it's a wonder they survived. Yippee-yi-yi. Traded up some horseshoes for a bag of pine needle tea. remedy from a medicine man in a headdress made of beads. You can hear the coyotes howling, getting closer by the night. New calf hits the ground and it's gone before daylight. Yippee-ki-yay. Dust comes out these bones. Yippee-ki-yay, seeds are gonna sow, only with these bleeding hands and a dream made out of stone. The trail's cutting deeper, the ruts are wearing down. Wagon right across Rupert's land, still 80 miles from town. The planting season's burnt up, the earth was hot and dry. Praying down on our knees for the rain to fall from the sky. The dust comes out these bones. Yippee-ki-yay, seeds are gonna sow, only with these bleeding hands and a dream made out of stone.
I'm Lindsay Butler.
Well, thank you very much, Lindsay. That was beautiful. Before I introduce the next presenter, I'm going to touch on a couple things that people have been asking me about lately. So, how many here know about what happened in court with me and Archer and David Pulowski? So there's been a lot of confusion that we won some sort of an appeal. Hey, we didn't win any appeal. Our appeal's not till June. What happened in that hearing, we actually filed an application to have our sentence stayed until our appeal was heard. And the reason we asked for that is because some of the stuff they were asking us to do, if we had to do it and we won our appeal, that damage would be irreparable. For example, Justice Germain said that I wasn't allowed to leave Alberta. Well, I've got family in BC, I've got things I need to do. I have other people I need to go speak to in other provinces. And if I can't do that, and I win my appeal, all of that time is wasted. There's no way I could recover that time and repair that damage. And the same goes with the compelled speech thing. In that hearing, the judge actually asked AHS's lawyer, let me back up a minute. AHS's lawyer said to the judge, well, we don't see how that could be an irreparable harm done to Mr. Scott, not being able to, or being forced to say something the government wants. There's no evidence of that. And the judge said, what kind of evidence would you accept for that? Like, how does that even work? You're telling the court that this man has to say something on behalf of the government before he says something against them. What kind of evidence would say that that he shouldn't have to do that? And he sat there with a stunned look on his face. They had no answers. Another thing he said during that hearing was that the reason AHS went to a judge in secret, lied to them, told them I didn't have a lawyer, and got an injunction against me was because AHS can't enforce their own rules. Let me repeat that. He said AHS can't support their own or enforce their own rules. Now you might be asking, what does that mean? Does that mean that mandates aren't law? No, it doesn't. That means we exist in a society where we've given up authority to organizations who can abuse the law and use it against us.
But the hook is already on the line.
So I didn't go to jail because I didn't listen to AHS. I haven't even gone to court over that. I haven't received one fine. I haven't had a day in court to say, to explain why I did what I did on principle. People whose ego I harmed got a judge to order me to follow their rules. And I didn't listen to the judge. So I got charged with contempt of court. Now I'm not particularly contemptuous of court. I hold a lot of contempt for a system that allows people to be persecuted, jailed, ridiculed, cast from society without having their day in court. That's not how it's supposed to work. Now, when we went along with our lives and didn't pay attention, we didn't listen to what our legislators were doing. We let that happen. We let them make laws we let them do legal things that let them act unlawfully. It is, according to the Constitution, which is supposed to be the supreme law of Canada, it's more like toilet paper these days, it is unlawful for a government to interfere with your life, your rights, or your freedoms unless they go to court and prove that it's necessary. Now, we have legislation that says they can do that. They can do whatever they want. We have legislation that allows the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Alberta to raid a doctor's office, go through their personal, private medical files between them and their patients, which is supposed to be a sacred relationship, and use it to target people who are opposing them. Jeff Rath is a lawyer. He has a mask exemption, and the College of Physicians and Surgeons used that as a way to target him. He's representing folks that are suing the college for preventing proper medical treatment and interfering with the doctor-patient relationship. They're suing the college for that. Now, the college used existing law to go into that doctor's office, and out of 10,000 files, they picked 28, one of which happened to be Mr. Rath's.
Yeah.
Imagine that. An authority using legal methods to target individual citizens. It's absolutely disgusting. But it's legal. And until we stand up and start taking back little pieces of this authority that we've given up, it's not going to change. But we can do that in our communities. That's another reason why we gather like this, to share ideas on how to take back authority from those who are using the authority against us. Those who would come into my cafe and tell me that they have, I quote, all the authority in the world over you, Mr. Scott.
Yeah. Ooh.
I don't know if you've seen the video, but it's right in there. He actually said that to me. And I said to him, no, Mr. Brown, I stand under the Constitution of Canada that guarantees my rights and freedoms above all else, regardless of government. Thanks for the applause, but they still chained my restaurant and they still threw me in jail. But I'll tell you right now, I would go back to jail on this principle. And any of you who plan on not complying, you may go to jail. You may lose something. You may be harmed irreparably. And it's going to happen to you legally. So it's important to encourage those that are not complying, to encourage those that are speaking out against this, because they have a lot on the line whether they know it or not. So George is a devoted family man, fellow freedom warrior with a heart for God. He is the founder of Take Back Our Freedoms, and apparently he knows a thing or two about country music. Thanks, George.
So much, Chris. Thank you so much. And I want to hear it for Chris Scott with the Whistlestop in Mirror, Alberta. Chris has been a tremendous inspiration. His courage, his conviction, his tenacity, and his stubbornness not to give up. You know, Winston Churchill said at the darkest hour of the Second World War, never, never, never give up. The advantage we have over this criminal cabal of premiers and MLAs and elected officials across this country is they're trying to drown us in a lie. Why we're going to win is we're never going to give up. We have the truth on our side, and God is with us. About 3 months ago, my friend Roy Beyer and I, we were seeing what was going on. We were seeing the enormous work that's being done by Action for Canada and Vaccine Choice and Strong and Free Canada, certainly John Carpe's JCCF, and the many other organizations. One of the things that we saw that was a missing gap that we knew we could probably help with was the area of putting maximum pressure on our MLAs and our premiers across the country. So over the last 2 months, we were working night and day preparing for that. And the first 2 provinces that we're going to be launching on Tuesday of this week, if you look at takingbackyourfreedoms.ca, taking back our freedoms, I should say, takingbackOurFreedoms.ca, we'll be launching our formal campaign on our website on Tuesday after about 6 weeks of preparation. We are very honored to have former Newfoundland Premier Brian Peckford as our chairman of the board for Canada.
Woo!
He's the last living First Minister that was there in Charlottetown in 1982 when he toughly negotiated our Charter of Rights and Freedoms and fought for us as Canadians in 82, and he's now back as our chairman to fight for us once again for our freedoms. And I tell you, he's not just a window dressing. The Premier Peckford has been on a number of calls with us with campaigns across the country, and he has said, anything you need from me, I'm there for you. And so we thank and salute Premier Peckford for once again standing up for the freedoms of Canadians. And I can tell you, he's respected and he's feared by every premier in Canada.
Woo!
We're also very honored to have Dr. Roger Hodkinson, a real courageous man, 78-year-old pathologist, and a veteran for freedom in this country, and he has also joined our board of advisors. So we're very thankful. So if you go to takebackourfreedoms.ca on Tuesday, we would invite you to be a part of our campaign. And we've got a very good do-it-yourself kind of website for your local ridings. And we do believe that we can be free from mandates in Alberta before the end of December. And that's because of people like Chris Scott and the people like Action for Canada and Vaccine Choice Canada and Strong and Free Canada and JCCF and all of the others who've been working tirelessly. We're working in concert with them. A few weeks ago, I had the privilege, and I can say her name publicly because I talk to her every day, and she said, tell the story to the world. Cheryl Moberly has become a very dear friend of mine. And on October 11th, 2021, her 39-year-old daughter, Jolene, was healthy as anything. And her 21-year-old son, Ty, Jolene's 21-year-old son, Ty, known as the grad baby, and their 17-year-old son, Ian, and their 2 little daughters, 13 and 11, are not going to be putting up Christmas trimmings this year with their mom. Because on the 12th of October, through the coercion of the Saskatchewan government, forcing her and threatening her to take a vax, she took the vax on the 12th of October, and she died on the 17th of October. If we ever wonder why we're doing this, we're doing it for moms like Cheryl and children like Jolene's children. This is a song I wrote, and I'm dedicating this song to Jolene. It's called You're Not Alone Anymore. You have the chorus of this song. Dominique has passed it out, and thank you, Dominique, another courageous warrior. And I want you to sing with me in the chorus. The chorus will go, when you need a friend to lean on me. When the stormy waters break upon the shore, it don't matter how it used to be. You just lean on me. You're not alone anymore. So thank you, Okotoks, and thank you, Alberta. At times the pain seems more than we can bear. When the storms of life come knocking on our door, fair weather friends have left you. You can't find them anywhere. You're not alone anymore. Let's sing this for Jolene. When you need a friend to lean on me. When the stormy waters break upon the shore, it don't matter how it used to be. You just lean on me. You're not alone anymore. Though time has eased your pain and dried your tears, time alone will never help you understand why the innocent must die, why we must live in fear. If you need me, reach out for my hand. Let's sing it twice in the chorus for Cheryl. When you need a friend to lean on me. When the stormy waters break upon the shore, it don't matter how it used to be. You just lean on me. You're not alone anymore. Just one more time now. When you need a friend to lean on me. When the stormy waters break upon the shore, it don't matter how it used to be. You just lean on me. You're not alone anymore. It don't matter how it used to be. You just lean on me. You're not alone anymore. Thank you so much, and that's for Jolene.
Has anybody here figured out why they're doing it? It's to hide their own failure. AHS has failed over the last 30 years to provide effective health care for Albertans.
Right.
It took a pseudo-pandemic to show it, to bring it to light, but we can see it. Hospitals are not being overwhelmed because of the unvaccinated. Hospitals are being overwhelmed because there's wings of the hospital shut down.
Right.
They don't have enough staff. They don't have enough beds. Or maybe they don't even have services at that hospital anymore. In their never-ending quest to fill their own pockets, that top brass in AHS has moved most services two big centers, Edmonton and Calgary. 90% of the nurses that are speaking out in favor, like really vocally, like the ones that tell me that I should die in a ditch, 90% of them are from Edmonton or Calgary. Because their hospitals are full sometimes. And they're full not because of unvaccinated people, but they're full because AHS wanted to save some money, put it in their own pockets, and move services from rural areas into the cities. So when someone gets sick in Falher, they get transferred down to Edmonton. If somebody gets sick in Ponoka, they get transferred to Wetaskiwin or Red Deer. Because they're saving money by having less staff. But in doing so, they've left us extremely unprepared for anything like this. They've failed. And their failure is so obvious that they've had to turn us against each other. Right. They had to get us to fight amongst each other and say, oh, this is your fault, you dirty plague rat. Just go get your shot so we can end this. Well, it hasn't ended so far. It didn't end at 80%. It did not end after 2 weeks. It didn't end after our restaurants and gyms and salons were shut down for 8 weeks. None of the things they've said have worked, but every single one of their solutions have caused more division within our society. They've taken the spotlight off their own failing and put it on us. And I feel really bad for those who can't see that. Because if more people would speak up, if more people would open their eyes and realize what's going on, we could end this in literally days.
Yes. Yes.
But people are blinded. Some of that's my fault. People are blinded by things I do. They can't debate me and the things that I say, so they focus on my belly. I'm fat. They focus on the fact that when I got arrested, I was wearing a hoodie and I was kind of dressed like a slob. While it was like 6 degrees, I was wearing 3 hoodies and I was muddy. They pick apart our characters. They defame us. They say we're doing this to get rich.
Hey guys. Hey Ernest. Hey Rob. Hey.
Well, newsflash, I'm already rich.
Hey Mark.
I have no money, but I'm rich. I'm rich because of you folks and my family. I don't want to be, no, I do want to be wealthy. I don't care if I'm ever wealthy. I'm happy being rich in my life. I'm happy being enriched by those around me. And when I see those people suffering and I hear the stories, there's nothing I can do but move forward in my fight against this. Regardless of how many people call me fat, or they make fun of me, or they make memes about me, which is actually flattering. But it's something that we just have to deal with, I guess. When you speak the truth doesn't set you free. The truth oftentimes changes the way people look at you. They no longer look at you for what you're saying. They pick you apart for what you look like, or maybe you aren't a great businessman. Maybe you kept too many staff on and had to make them wait a day or two to get paid because you're not good at that stuff. But they ignore the messages, the important messages. And I don't know how we're going to deal with that. But I do know one guy who's very good at speaking to people with his art, with his music, and encouraging them to get past their differences and get back to a place where we can start looking past people's imperfections and we can start seeing the good. This guy came to my cafe early this year, and he walked in the door, and I was like, oh man, this guy's nuts. Just kidding. I didn't think that. He came in with one of the most bubbly, beautiful girls that I'm sure he's had the privilege to meet. And I don't mean like looks, I mean like just a beautiful person. They both are. And they asked me, hey, we love what you're doing. Can we do a music video here in your cafe? And I looked around at my raggedy ass cafe. And we hadn't even cleaned yet that night. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be on a video? But I said, okay. And as soon as I heard his song, I was like, you know what? The universe or the creator or whatever is saying something to me by sending this man to my cafe with this message. It really, really meant something. This isn't a man who just sings songs about getting rich and fast cars and stuff like that. He sings songs about each and every one of you and what we have to do as a society to live a prosperous life. And not prosperous by making money, prosperous by connections and networking, the important things. So, again, I'm way over, but I would like to introduce you to RC the rapper.
Right on. Well, thank you, Chris. Great to be here, everybody. Nice to see so many naked faces. And yeah, like he said, my name is RC the rapper. My name's Conrad, but more universally known as RC the rapper. Yeah, so we're just gonna plug in my tunes here, and I'm gonna perform for you guys the exact song that Chris was talking about. So this song is called Friends.
I'm not your enemy, but you don't want me. Yeah, I'm not your enemy, but I'm the one you fear. Why are you scared of me? That don't make no sense. We've all got enemies, and now what we need is friends.
Trying to hold on to my friends who have different opinions, victims of the tribalism in a broken system. Sometimes it feels like I've been chasing down a hopeless mission, but it's inclined to have an open mind and see it different. Black and white, red and blue, they split us like a prism. They sow division and we misdirect our good intentions, but denigrating and snitching upon our neighbors isn't doing anyone no favors. There's graver danger. Can they really keep us safe with a baton and taser? Imposing fines on people who dare to show their faces, arresting people for trying to earn their honest wages. So don't believe that we ain't free and we can't see the cages. What's the difference? Social distance, stuck inside our places, frustrated, casting blame, forgetting what is sacred. It only ends when we can set aside our differences, bring the wisdom in and build a future worth living in.
But you don't want me, yeah, I'm not your enemy, but I'm the one you fear. Why are you scared of me? That don't make no sense. We all got enemies, now what we need is friends.
So I'm the enemy, but questioning what they tell me. Cover up your face, human connection isn't healthy. We're all in this together as long as we stay apart. The weak to flatten the curve, and here we are. Do we really know the cost of never seeing a smile? Can we control a virus with some arrows in an aisle? We stay at home orders and lining up single file? Or are we just being naive and living in denial? Is anybody doing cost-benefit analysis? What about the men too terrified to get dialysis? People missing screenings for diabetes and cancer tests. We act like this ain't hazardous, it's already disastrous. Why tell me how could our leaders ever stand for this? Listen to your heart, it will tell you what the answer is. We're the ones going through the hardships and the challenges. They're the ones who laugh at us for penthouses and palaces.
I'm not your enemy, but you don't want me, yeah. I'm not your enemy, but I'm the one you fear. Why are you scared of me? That don't make no sense. We all got enemies, now what we need is friends.
We're all in this together, but not the way they need. We're all in this together, and they ain't on our team. We're gonna have to wake up if we wanna live the dream, and start treating each other like our fellow human beings. Separated we are weak, and divided we are conquered. Together we're unstoppable, united we will prosper. So let us stop the usury, strengthen our communities, and build up our immunity through fellowship and unity.
But you don't want me, yeah. I'm not your enemy, but I'm the one you fear. Why are you scared of me? That don't make no sense. We all got enemies, now enemy, but you don't want me near. I'm not your enemy, but I'm the one you fear. Why are you scared of me? That don't make no sense. We've all got enemies. Now what we need is friends.
Thanks, everybody. So, do we want to just jump into the next song, or how did you guys want to do this?
So that was the song he did at the Whistlestop. If you haven't seen it already, check out the video. And if you like what he has to say, and you think that he's a good artist, which I do, support him. Buy his songs, help him out. Believe it or not, I don't think it's free to do those kind of productions. So yeah, let's support artists wherever we can. So our next presenter is, he doesn't really need an introduction. But one thing about this guy is his message, what he's been saying for months. There are very few people who could debate any of it. He speaks a lot of truth. And this guy is a great example of what happens when people can't debate or discuss what you're saying, so they attack you personally.
Right.
That's the weapon of fools, is to ignore a message and focus on insignificant things. So,
That's a good question.
ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you Mr. Chris Sky. And his wife Jenny.
Hello, Okotoks. How are we today? I was not expecting a crowd like this. I was not expecting a day like this, and I was definitely not expecting this perfect energy. I love it. You guys have that community vibe, that type of community vibe we need to get everyone to come together to get through this. And when we're talking about together, we're talking about the government and any type of opposition's number one weapon is division. Period. Anyone who's talking bad about anyone who tries to make anybody look bad, anybody who's trying to use other people's names to get clout or get type of attention, those are the real people causing division. If you're producing things like hate lists, all you're going to do is get people to talk things negatively. So I ignore that kind of stuff because I focus on the big picture. The big picture is getting our freedoms back. And I'll fight and stand beside any person willing to do that, even my own worst enemy. But as people have known and people have seen, if you're one of those people get in the way of that fight, of this quest, of this war, you'll see what I'll do to you. Everyone's seen it, and there's always a reason for it. But that's what we need. We need to have that kind of passion. If I'm willing to risk my safety, my freedom, I've been arrested 17 times now, or 16, sorry, let's not be prophetic. 16 times now, I put my very life on the line for this cause. So if you think I won't have harsh words for anybody who's trying to trample on this cause and try to stop us from getting our rights and freedoms back, they're going to have another thing coming. Because this is the fight of our lives, ladies and gentlemen. The fight for our children's lives, ladies and gentlemen. There is nothing more important in our country, in our world, than the children. And that is who they're coming for next. Because they think they've demoralized you enough. They think they've got you down to the amount of coercion that you will comply with literally sacrificing your children's health, their well-being, their future, their very souls to these demons. And that's exactly what this injection is. It's not a vaccine to protect your children from a virus that has less than a 1 in 10 million chance of killing them. No, this is a bioweapon that's going to damage your children, and they know it. They put a special additive in your child's vaccine called Tris. This is a medication that they give to people after they've suffered a heart attack. And it's meant to mask the symptoms of the heart damage they know they're going to cause your children with this experimental, unapproved injection. And now they've let the cat out of the bag that your 5-year-old isn't even young enough. They're coming for your 6-month and up.
Wow.
They want your 5-year-olds on a QR code.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, that's what they want. They want you to download a QR code that is literally the equivalent of an ankle bracelet. Only it's even worse because it's linked to your identity, and soon it's going to be linked to your bank account. If you don't resist now, if you don't fight back now, if you don't hold your ground now, the next incursion on your civil liberties is going to be the introduction and the forced usage of a digital currency. You can go to the central bank website right now, and it's right there on the front page. They're looking for someone who's going to build this digital currency. And then when that happens, your little QR code app that they want you to download is merged with your ID and merged with your bank account. So now you won't be able to even work or collect government benefits, unemployment benefits, or even your pensions, for all you people think you're going to be able to avoid this, unless you submit to a never-ending jab. And already you see what's happening to the people who are mostly vaccinated. Do you guys hear about Gibraltar? It's a territory near Spain. Over 100% vaccination rate. Over 100%. That means even the workers that come in every day across the border have to show that they're fully vaccinated. And guess what? They have the 5th highest death rate in the world, and they have to cancel every single winter event because their COVID cases are through the roof, even though every single person is vaccinated. So is this going to end when they get you to get to 80%, then 90%, then 100%? No! They're just going to tell you, oh, a new variant came out. Did I not tell you they were going to come out with a new variant to cut? I said this in July, ladies and gentlemen. July 1st, Canada Day, Ottawa. By the fall, before the winter, they're going to come out with a new variant to make an excuse why all the vaccinated people are getting sick. And what do they call it? The Omicron variant. Did you hear about that? You know what that's an anagram for, right? Yeah, because that's what they think you are. That's where we are at. So now, all the vaccinated people are the ones getting sick, but no, it's not because the vaccine didn't work, or even better, the vaccine's what made them sick. No, it's because of the new Omicron variant that we took from Transformers. This is how stupid they think you are. And the best part is of all, the people that complied with every single thing. My best friend's dad is double jabbed. And he said, I got it so I can travel. Well, guess where he is right now? Stranded in the Netherlands because he was trying to travel to South Africa, and that's just been put on a travel ban list. So even though you took every jab they wanted you to, jumped through every hoop you wanted them to, bent over every time they asked you to, you just got your ass stranded in a foreign country and you can't travel. But you got the jab so you could travel. That's their next step, ladies and gentlemen. They get you all to take the jab, then they still put a travel ban on you regardless. So you're not allowed to travel. But then they'll still trick you to taking the next booster because you won't be able to work, or you won't be able to go to school, or you won't be able to go to the gym. And it has nothing to do with the vaccine or the virus. It's about getting you into a situation where your God-given rights and freedoms are now government-granted privileges predicated on this inoculation and virtually anything else they can literally come up with. What's stopping them from saying, the booster shot only works for 3 months, so now you need to take 3 or 4 shots a year? Nothing. Because now they're already telling you you're going to have to take one every 6 months, and people seem to be okay with that. And what's stopping them from saying, oh, now you got to take a COVID medication pill that'll help prevent the virus every day? Nothing. And you can see where it goes from there. They have total control over every single one of you, and that's what this has been about since day one. That's why in my book, I break down United Non-Compliance. And United Non-Compliance was, is, and will ever be the only solution to this problem. You're not going to vote your way out. You're not going to comply your way out. So the only thing you can do is just say no. That's why I made the merch, ladies and gentlemen. It's not because it's a cat. like me woke up people all around the world. We're talking millions upon hundreds of millions of people to the reality that this has nothing to do with health and safety. And this has everything to do with control. The global evolution of consciousness to the reality that, wait for it, the government really isn't your friend. Sorry, my heart. That's the reality, and for a lot of people, they couldn't handle it. But we got past that. Enough people are awake that we know what's going on, and that's why the government went from Krispy Kreme donuts and lottery tickets and ice cream cones to take the jab, or we're not going to let you work or travel or go to school or go to the gym or eat at a restaurant, and pretty soon we're going to try to lock you down and put you in camps. That's where we are. And why did they show their tyranny? Because they had no choice. You think they wanted to let you know their plan? No. They had you good and fooled until people like me with my big mouth wouldn't shut the hell up. And now you guys are well aware. And that's why they're scrambling like the rats they are. I don't know if you saw the videos of Trudeau literally running away from me last week in Edmonton. But to be fair, he literally made his people run a red light in their Ford Expedition because of her, which was really funny. Imagine you and your security detail running away from a group of people led by her. That's your fearless leader, ladies and gentlemen. The rats were literally fleeing the ship. It was hilarious to watch. But if you have a leader like that can't even step in front of his people, there's a reason. It's because he's not a leader. It's because he's a dictator. And like every other dictator, he's going to go down the tubes. It's just a matter of when and how bad. And I can prove it to you. We've already won. The moment you all woke up to the reality of what's going on, and the majority have, we won. They're never going to get more people vaccinated than they did with their first propaganda campaign for the first two. Remember? Take two and you'll get all your freedoms back. And then they took two, and I told everybody, take two, and they're still going to make you wear a mask, and then they're going to tell you you're going to have to take another shot over and over and over again. And now that the people have settled in that reality, do you really think they're going to get as many people to take the third, fourth, fifth, sixth? No, they've reached peak vaccination, which means they've already lost. It's just taking you guys this long to realize, just like it took me almost a year to wake people up to what was really going on. Now the next step is making people realize they already won. You didn't give in. You didn't take the jab. The only way they could have won is if 90+% of people took that jab. And they didn't. And that's why they're coming for your children, because that's the only way they believe they can get the compliance necessary. But are you going to sacrifice your children for these people? No! Are you ready to sacrifice these people for your children? Yeah. That's what I like to hear. And I think the politicians are starting to realize that all over the world, as truth is coming out everywhere. Did you see what the New York Times posted yesterday? Or not yesterday, sorry, it was like last week. My days are muddled when you drive like 12, 13, 14, 15 hours a day, like we did yesterday. But yeah, it said, despite mass vaccination, COVID deaths are higher in the United States this year than last year. Okay, so how can you interpret that than anything else that either the vaccine doesn't work or the vaccine is making people sick? There's no other logical explanation for that headline, but they publish it as a way to try to coerce people to go get vaccinated. This is where we're at. You have literally people taking the vaccine, 5 minutes later collapsing, and then they'll go on TV the next day and say, I'm okay, guys. Imagine how bad it wouldn't have been if I didn't take the vaccine. These are the propaganda campaigns. Is this stuff actually working? Like, I'm sorry, it's ridiculous. Now they're advertising on buses about normalizing strokes and heart attacks in children. When's the last time you've seen a 12-year-old have a heart attack or a stroke? Never. Oh, now all of a sudden it's normal and it's going to happen every other week, so get used to it. They literally made a law in Nova Scotia this week to put defibrillators in every child's school. Is that not insane? You need a defibrillator in your child's school because they know that out of the 1,000 kids in there, more than one's going to have heart damage from these friggin' vaccines. That's less than 1 in 1,000. Think about the autism rates right now. They're like 1 in 50. That's 2% of the children autistic. How much percentage of the children are going to have myocarditis in the next 5 years? That all depends on you. Because guess what? The government isn't the one doing this. That's what everybody tells themselves every night when they go home. They go, I hate the government. And they complain. But guess what? Did the government stick the needle in your child's arm? Or did you? Did you not drag them and bring them to that vaccination clinic while they were crying and screaming and pleading with you not to? And you told, oh, it's safe and effective. And how are you going to live with yourself when you find out your child can't play hockey anymore and your child has a 50% chance of being dead within the next 5 years? That's what you're going to feel. Let that feeling sink into your body versus letting your child maybe get COVID and being sick for a couple of days. How many children got COVID and myocarditis? How many children got COVID and died? Unless they had some really extentful pre-existing condition. Chance? Absolutely nothing. And what are the chances when you start injecting them with these vaccines? And then not only 2, 3, 4, 5 for your 6th, 7th, and 8th month old. This is what you're going to do to preserve the health of your children and preserve the future of your children. No, that's what cowards do. That's what cowards do when they pretend they don't know any better. But you can't pretend you don't know any better because we have so much data out right now. Did you hear what Pfizer said to the FDA? Do you know how long it's going to take them to release the data that they have? Yes, you're going to see how safe these vaccines were for your child that you're injecting now in the year 2076. Because Pfizer's going to release so many pages every few weeks. And they have so many pages to go through that this disclosure of information is going to take the next 50 years. Because, you know, they can't just summarize it and tell you what they figured out. No, they want to push it so they can have decades to absolutely destroy you and the future generations of your family. That's what they want. That's what this is. And if you take that 3rd booster, I'm telling you, that means your time is up. Think about everything you've heard in history. 3 wishes, 3 chances, the Holy Spirit, a triangle, etc. You had 2 shots. You know what the 3rd shot does? Why don't you ask Israel? Yeah, they're already inoculated 2.5 million people. And since they did that, their death rate for COVID is now the highest in the entire world. And the answer? A 4th booster, of course. Because the 3rd one only made them the most infected country in the entire world. So let's give them a 4th. Meanwhile, Africa, where this supposed new variant came from, has less than 6% of the people vaccinated, and COVID rates almost non-existent. I know we can't call it common sense anymore, but at least sense should be able to prevail when we have all of this info. And so now all we need to do is hold the line, ladies and gentlemen. It's so easy. Simply just say no to their stupid jab and all their restrictions. And you think it's a big deal. I have people calling me, oh my God, I might lose my job. Oh my God, I can't go to school. Oh my God, your great-grandparents holding the line meant standing there where people are coming at you with machine guns and trying to kill you. And you're worried about losing a job that you could replace the very next day? Where you'll actually be happy and not even have to worry about that? Give me a break, Canadians. This is why we're where we are. You're so decadent. The United States was built on war while we were built on tea and crumpets. And it shows it shows. Why do you think Florida's open? Because in Florida, a little girl, literally a little girl, has more balls, more fortitude, and more follow-through than virtually any of the Canadian males that I've met. She's 8 years old. She lives in Florida. And she wanted to not wear a mask in her school. So you know what she did? Imagine this. She went to her school without a goddamn mask. So they sent her home. The next day she came back without a mask. They sent her home. She said, I can do this every day. They said, so can we? She's like, well, I'm only 8 years old. I got more time than you. And you know what happened? After 30-something days, the inevitable. The school had to give in. No more mask mandates for the children. That one little girl made more difference than millions of Canadian men. That that one little girl would walk into her school and anywhere else without her mask, while the average 35-year-old Canadian man will put on a face diaper so he can go into Metro and get his soy, vegan, frozen food that he can microwave at home. This is the difference between our countries, and that's why they're free and we're not. It's not because we're smarter or we care about safety more. It's because our government knows they can get away with it. You think they could get away with this in Florida? No, the people would shoot them. And that's why the government wants to take your guns. See that all the propaganda now. First of all, they're already trying to ban the so-called scary militarized rifle, you know, like an AR-15, because a .223, the second least powerful rifle cartridge in the world, is their biggest danger. And now they want to ban handguns. You get the trend? They want to ban virtually every type of gun, so you can be Australia. You see, Australia, their COVID app is so much better than yours. Their COVID app has a special feature, and they're going to add this to yours soon. For all the regions where you're not allowed to leave your zone, and that zone could be 5 kilometers from your house, your new ankle bracelet, I mean COVID app, will tell you that you have to check in with the government at certain times. And if you don't take a selfie and show them exactly where you are, within 5 minutes, it notifies the police, who then will call you and you'll have to give a reason for why you're not there. And they're actually taking people to camps right now in Australia. And in places like Saskatchewan, they passed the Emergency War Measures Act and renamed it the Emergency Management Act, so they can do the exact same thing. They even went so far to tell you where the camps are and to tell you the teams they're going to be using of ex-police with public health officials that are going to be extracting people from their homes to bring to these camps. And don't worry, you're not prisoners. That would be illegal. They call you clients because they're bringing you there for your own safety. Against your own will and involuntarily, of course, but you're clients. And that's what they're setting up in Canada. And if you think they're not going to do it, like I already told you, what they're going to do is tell you about a new variant and then try to lock down the vaccinated. Germany, Italy, Czech is doing just that. They announced full lockdowns for all the unvaccinated. And then there was so much uproar, they said, oh, hell with it. We'll just lock down everybody, including the vaccinated, back. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we're at. We're at a crossroads, right here. If you take the jab, you take their bullshit, and you go left, we go down the road where in a few months we have a digital currency, and after that, every single one of you that was currently, right now, an individual with a little bit of power, that when it can come together, creates a lot of power, will be relegated to a little blip on a screen where they can simply flip a switch and you're no longer there. That's future number one. Future number two is where you refuse the jab. You refuse to give it to your children. You walk away from your job to the point where they actually have to give you your job back, or you find another job or school, etc. And surprise, now all of a sudden we're in a position where we can remake the country any way we want. And do you want the country the way you want it, or do you want the country the way they want it? We know what they want. What do you want? I want freedom. And in closing, I've got to tell you guys one thing before I do. Two quick things. The only way you're going to reach the people, and I've tried everything, even shock therapy, they're in a spell induced by fear. The only way to break a spell induced by fear is with a stronger human emotion. And what's the strongest human emotion? Thank you. And where are we right now? Christmas time. What is a better time than now to reach out to those friends, loved ones, co-workers that you lost during this pandemic? Just tell them you love them. Ask them how they're doing. And maybe invite them over for Christmas. And don't ask about their vaccination status or ask them to wear a mask. And see what happens. If we spread that love, we spread that message, we never know. And to make it happen, we're actually doing an event, and I gotta tell it before I get off the thing, and I want it to be a Canada-wide event, and it's starting December 4th, Saturday at the West Edmonton Mall. Everyone saw what happened to me and my wonderful wife there a few days ago, so we're gonna go back there, and we're gonna give an example of what it's like to shop in 2018, old school holiday shopping, with friends and family, mask-free, eating snacks, having fun. We're gonna do a toy drive. Anybody who's there and buys something for the toy drive, we're going to donate it to a worthy cause. And to make sure it's worthwhile, we're going to do this all 3 Saturdays in December, the 4th, the 11th, and the 18th. So we're moving the protest from the legislature to inside West Edmonton Mall for the 3 busiest shopping Saturdays of the year. Now, if that doesn't make an impact, I don't know what is. So I'm calling on all the organizers in all the provinces, in all the cities, to do the exact same thing. I don't care if your group is 50 or 5,000. Go to your mall, do some holiday shopping, mask free, sing some songs, buy some toys, donate the toys, and break every stupid rule they have there to prove a point. Thank you, everybody. I know there's more stuff to go on. I don't want to take up everybody's time. I'm not going anywhere, so don't worry. I'm just going to be hiding out behind the stage. If anyone wants to see me, I love you all very much. Do not stop fighting. Do not take the jab. And remember, love conquers all.
Thanks, Chris, and thanks, Jenny. We all understand how difficult it is to do this kind of stuff, and we really appreciate what you're doing and your message. So before I introduce the next performer, I just want to let you guys know, Friday, December 3rd, 7 p.m., Princess Island Park in Calgary. There's going to be a Lights for Freedom rally. Archer Pulowski will be there, I believe. And it sounds like it should be a good time, so if you're in the area, it would be worthwhile to go and check that out, meet some people, and shake some hands. So I want to take a moment to talk about something real quick here. So Chris mentioned the QR codes. I am all about personal choice, personal freedoms, personal accountability, and responsibility. However, when it comes to these QR codes, I have a big problem. And the reason I do is because there are a lot of people who are participating in this, the QR codes and all that, messages and phone calls all the time, people saying, hey man, where can you help me find a fake Vax passport? No! I'm not going to help you find a fake Vax passport because the Vax passports are bullshit. And anybody that participates with them is harming other people. Because the more people that trade their freedom by getting that Vax passport so they can go to Mexico or go eat in a restaurant, they're hurting other people. I am not going to go get a QR code so that I can not have to do dishes or go to a restaurant. If you want to socialize, have people over to your house. Go old school. 30 years ago, we didn't go out for lunch or supper every day of the week. It was a special thing. Go back to that. Host dinners and get-togethers at your house. And don't worry if your neighbor rats you out. Most of that stuff has been getting thrown in the garbage. Like I said, I've got 8 charges. I haven't appeared on any of them. And 80% of the people that have got these tickets, they've been thrown out because they're garbage. So instead of trading your freedom to be able to go out for dinner, just say no to that passport and socialize with your community. You don't need to go to a restaurant. And unfortunately, restaurants are going to feel the pain. I know mine sure is. I won't ask people for it, so we can't be open. And yeah, I know I'm supposed to be pushing back and going to jail, but I can't at this point because my next thing is a criminal charge for contempt of court, not for breaking the rules. And while I can't encourage you to break the rules because I have to keep the peace as a condition of my probation, I can tell you that if you do break the rules, you're probably not going to have the same consequences as me. Anyway, just consider that before you decide to buy into this in order to do something like go on vacation. We all need to share the pain a little bit here and support each other, and every person that decides to go get a fake something is one more person counted on that side. It's a real treat for you. Enjoy.
Thanks again, Chris. Just going to talk a little bit about what's been going on. So the song has been doing amazing thanks to all the support from you guys in this community right here and all across Canada. And to my surprise, the song actually hit the iTunes charts. yeah, we bumped out acts like Snoop Dogg and Macklemore. So, yeah, the song is available for purchase on iTunes. If you guys want to support, one of the best ways you can do that is by purchasing the song on iTunes. It costs $1. If everybody here in this crowd purchased the song today, then we might just make it into the top 10. I still haven't figured out how the charts work, but it would definitely help. This is my friend and partner in crime now, Jordan Shingoose. Some of you guys know my beautiful girlfriend, Misty Wind. And Jordan is Misty's cousin. And the powers that be, the real powers that be, have brought us together to make this song. And let's show you guys what we're working with. Home is where the heart is, the center of our gravity. Home is not a privilege that is granted by Her Majesty. A home is our right, a place to raise our family. Home is where we go for tranquility and sanctity. Home is where we feel at peace and we can have some privacy, where I can voice my thoughts and nobody tries to silence me. Home is where commotion turns to settling dust. Home is where we raise our kids to be better than us. And home is more than just a house. Home is where there's unity. Home is where we gather. Home is our communities. Home is the connection that we share when we trust. Home is not about me. Home is about us. Home is the guiding light within that we feel drawn to. Home is the source of our creation we belong to. Let them try with their lies meant to pull us apart. We always find our way home because we know it by heart. All these lonely roads, winding bend, find me friends that lead me home. And I know no matter where I go, I'm watching love. Home is our cities, our states and our countries. Home is the earth below, the sky above me. Home is the truth we instinctively know, helping us to find home everywhere that we go. But there's many false prophets trying to lead us astray, who want to tell us what to do, but not heed what we say. They ignore us while they play their game of righteous pretend, like we don't notice that their rules ain't applying to them, while our children have lost their future, made to cover up their faces, forced to get injections for attendance at their favorite places. Where does it end? When we take to the streets, the government won't call a hearing, they just call the police. And to the faceless stormtroopers, where is humanity? Just following orders is no excuse for your insanity. It's time to cut the rod out at the source like a cavity. It's time to go home and realize that we're a family. Recognize this country? Is this the way you'd like to live? Constantly harassed to put a mask upon your wife and kids? Cops and riot packs who like to act as if no rights exist. Alive, but we're not really living. What kind of life is this? The world is full of risks, but we don't need protection, cause all of their solutions are much worse than the infection. If we want resolution, we need unity, not politics. Why should we trust somebody who's broken so many promises? But maybe this was meant to be, had to happen all along. The cycle's always spinning, and it's darkest right before the dawn. It's funny, to the point of laughing out loud, cause what they said would never happen, well it's happening now, and so many are waking up. Welcome to the front lines, the ones who know behind the clouds will always be the sunshine. You and I see through the lies, no longer alone, and let the compass in our souls guide and carry us home. All these lonely roads, winding bend.
Everybody make some noise, get your hands up, come on! Hey. me friends, they lead me home. And I know, no matter where I roam, I'm watching love from high above. I'm not alone. Take me home.
Thank you so much, you guys. So the best way to keep up with us is probably Instagram. I have a website, rctherapper.com. Some of you may have heard this one. This is a song that I did in honor of Mr. Chris Guy's hashtag. I went to see the doctor with a touch of the flu, and I'm kinda skeptical of what he told me to do. He said that I should lock myself inside my room for a year, shut my non-essential business down and cower in fear. I said, Doc, I don't know, that seems so out of line. Even 3, maybe 4 days, I bet I'll be fine. He said, no, you must not, you must wait for the shot. Everybody's gotta get it or society stops. I said, Doc, I don't know, is that all really true? These shots are brand new, they ain't fully approved. He said, no, you can trust us, it's the latest in science. Never mind the people dying or the doctors we silence. I said, Doc, you must have me mistaken with someone pliable. I can't trust you if none of these companies are liable. So I'm gonna stay the course like a one-way road. Take your vaccine and shove it, I'ma just say no. 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 Just say what? Just say no. To the war being waged on our minds and our bodies and our soul. They ain't looking out for you, it's a scam and it's all about control. So doing what they say won't make it go away, oh no. But they don't know, the legs don't go through rain and snow. So I left the doctor's office and stepped onto the street, feeling troubled by the lies and campaign of deceit. But I'm not easily defeated, I'm not one to retreat. I tried to make a post about it, they deleted the tweet. Undeterred, I stood on the corner holding a sign. The cops showed up, I got arrested and fined. They told me that my words are considered a crime. Next they'll be coming for the thoughts in your mind. I knew they were wrong, I took my ticket and left. They're trying to make it difficult for those of us who resist. And with every headline, the propaganda continues. Now they say I'm gonna need a shot to step in a venue. All according to script, going exactly as planned. Next they're gonna wanna put a microchip in our hand. They say conspiracy theory, and that's all that they do. But it isn't just a theory if it keeps coming true. And that's why I'm gonna just say no. 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 Just say what? Just say. So this is where we're at now, the final boss battle. I'm not about to back down, I'm hopping in the saddle. I'm coming at it from a different angle like a southpaw. The system is corrupt, so it's good to be an outlaw. I'm rallying the troops, I'm looking for the lions who know that we will never get more freedom with compliance. If the past what's happening, we won't get away with just one. Gonna make us take a new shot every 6 months. It's only getting worse. Every time that we comply more, they take away the rights that our grandparents died for. Time to divide and let the vibes rise more. Make a better world for our kids, what we strive for. That means getting rid of all restrictions and masks. Saying no to passports and resisting the jab. It's time to kick some dust up and get one thing. Say it with me, Okotoks, tell them just say no. 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 Just say what? Just say no. Thank you guys.
Thank you, RC and Jordan! Woo! I love you guys, but we all love
love you too.